The screen before you glows faintly, a gateway to another layer of reality. Around you, objects rest quietly, each familiar, yet shrouded in a stillness that feels unshakable. Look closer. What appears stable begins to shift, if only in perception. That sturdy surface, the unmoving air. It may seem unyielding, yet everything, down to the tiniest particles, vibrates with restless energy. Science unveils this secret. Nothing is ever truly still. The atoms composing every surface and structure around us hum in constant motion. This isn't philosophy, it's fact. But philosophers, ancient seekers of the unseen, have long suspected something greater. Plato hinted at it in a tale passed through the ages. What if the world you know is but a shadow of reality? What if everything you see, touch, and trust hides the truth from you? Pause to consider. Not just the physical world, but the intangible things we cling to, beliefs, identities, ideologies. Could they, too, be shadows? So, what lies beyond them? And how do we find the courage to face it? Here begins the journey. Not a path to quick answers, but to the depths of human understanding. Plato's allegory of the cave will guide us, illuminating the timeless struggle between illusion and truth, between shadows and light. For those who dare to seek beyond the comfortable confines of their familiar walls, there is something extraordinary waiting, a truth that, once seen, cannot be unseen. This is the call. Will you step forward? Deep beneath the surface, there exists a cavern. Its darkness is absolute, pierced only by the faint glow of shadows on a cold, stone wall. Within this space, prisoners sit bound, their heads fixed so that they cannot turn. Their entire world consists of these shadows, distorted shapes cast by objects they cannot see, manipulated by unseen hands behind them. To these prisoners, the shadows are not just representations of reality. They are reality. They debate the meaning of these shifting forms, weaving stories and beliefs from their faint outlines. For them, the wall is truth, and the shadows are all there is. But then, something happens. One prisoner breaks free. The shackles fall away and the world shifts. The prisoner stumbles toward the source of the light, confused and disoriented. The bright glow of a fire, so much sharper than the wall's dull reflections, reveals objects and figures, their edges crisp and undeniable. Yet even these shapes, so real compared to the shadows, are not the ultimate truth. Pulled further, the prisoner emerges from the cavern into the blinding light of day. At first, the brilliance is unbearable. Colors, textures, and distances overwhelm the senses. Eyes accustomed to darkness cannot easily adjust to the sun's intensity. But slowly, with time, clarity comes. The prisoner begins to see the world as it truly is. Trees swaying in the wind, rivers flowing, and the radiant sun itself shining in the sky. And then understanding dawns. The sun, the source of all light, does not merely illuminate. It sustains life, reveals form, and represents something far greater than itself. The ultimate truth. What the prisoner thought was real, those shadows in the cave, was only a fragment, a distorted reflection of this vast, vibrant reality. But this is not the end of the story. With newfound wisdom comes a responsibility. The prisoner, now enlightened, must return to the cave, to the others still trapped in shadow. The journey back is not easy. The others will resist, mock, and even lash out. For them, the cave is safe, familiar, and unquestionable. Yet the truth carries its own power, and the call to share it is one that cannot be ignored. This is the tale Plato gives us. A journey not just from ignorance to knowledge, but from illusion to understanding, and from self to service. It is the eternal struggle to see the world not as it is shown to us, but as it truly is. Will you take the first step into the light? In the search for truth, not all knowledge is created equal. Some forms of understanding cling to the surface, grasping only the faintest outlines of reality. Others cut deeper, revealing the inner workings of the world. To explain this, Plato offers a guide, the divided line, a map of the mind's journey toward ultimate understanding. Picture a line split into 4 sections, each representing a different level of knowledge. At the bottom lies Acacia, the lowest form of perception. Here, understanding is tied to shadows, reflections, and illusions. This is the realm of those prisoners in the cave, mistaking flickering shapes on a wall for the entire truth. Next comes pistis, the knowledge of belief. It reaches beyond shadows to grasp the objects casting them. Still tied to the physical, still limited, but a step closer to clarity. This is the world of tangible things, where certainty feels solid but remains rooted in appearances. Then comes the great leap. Crossing the boundary into the intelligible realm, we enter dianoia, the knowledge of reasoning. Here, the mind works through logic, mathematics, and abstract thought. It sees patterns and connections that transcend the physical. In the cave, this might be the moment when a prisoner sees reflections in water, catching glimpses of something beyond the surface. Finally, at the line's summit, there is noesis, the highest form of understanding. No longer reliant on symbols or reasoning, this knowledge is pure and direct, an encounter with truth itself. It is the moment the prisoner steps fully into the light of the sun, not merely understanding it conceptually, but experiencing its brilliance firsthand. But Plato's line holds more than just philosophy. Hidden within it is a secret, a connection to the harmony of the universe. This line, when measured precisely, reflects the golden ratio, a pattern found in nature, art, and the cosmos itself. From the spirals of seashells to the structure of galaxies, this ratio ties the divided line to a universal order, suggesting that the path to truth is not random, but part of a grand design. To ascend this line is no easy task. Each step demands more of the mind and spirit, requiring not just knowledge, but a willingness to let go of certainty and embrace the unknown. It is a climb toward the ultimate goal, to see the world not as fragments, but as a whole illuminated by the light of truth. Will you rise through the layers? Will you dare to cross the line? At the peak of understanding lies something extraordinary, something beyond words or reason. This is noesis, the highest form of knowledge in Plato's philosophy. It is not learned through study, nor grasped through logic. Instead, it is a direct and profound encounter with truth, a clarity that cuts through illusion and reveals reality in its purest form. To grasp what noesis is, begin with what it is not. It is not the careful calculations of mathematics, nor the structured debates of philosophy. Those are stepping stones, necessary but incomplete. Noesis occurs when the mind transcends these tools and encounters truth itself, unmediated. It is seeing not just a reflection or representation of reality, but the essence of what is. Think of the sun in the allegory of the cave. Its light doesn't merely illuminate, it defines. It reveals the forms, the ultimate realities that shape everything else. For the freed prisoner, noesis is that moment when the sun is no longer an idea, but a living presence, overwhelming and transformative. Philosophers like Plotinus describe this state as a merging of the observer with the observed. In noesis, the soul aligns with the object of its contemplation, dissolving the boundaries between knowing and being. The self is no longer separate from the truth it seeks. It becomes part of it. This level of understanding is rare, elusive. It requires a deep transformation, not just intellectually, but spiritually. To reach it, one must strip away the distractions of the world, the ego, the endless noise of opinions and appearances. What remains is a quiet, unwavering focus on the essence of things, a focus that leads to profound insight. In noesis, knowledge becomes something alive. It ceases to be a collection of facts and becomes a state of being. Plato describes it as the highest good, the ultimate aim of the philosopher's journey. To reach this state is to step fully into the light, to see clearly and completely, and to understand the interconnectedness of all things. Few will make this journey. It demands not just intelligence, but courage, a willingness to leave behind everything familiar and safe. Yet for those who do, the reward is immense. Noesis offers not just knowledge, but wisdom, not just clarity, but purpose. Will you take the final step toward the light? The light of the sun is dazzling, its truth undeniable. For the one who has ascended from the darkness, the world beyond the cave is alive with colors, textures, and dimensions that once seemed impossible. Yet the journey is far from over. To stand in the light is not the end. it is the beginning of an even greater challenge. The philosopher, now awakened, faces a choice: remain in the brilliance of truth or return to the cave. The latter is no easy task. Those still bound in the shadows know nothing of the world outside. They trust their illusions, debate the meaning of their shadows, and mock anything that threatens their fragile reality. For them, the cave is comfort and its walls are safety. But truth carries a burden. To know the light is to feel the pull to share it. Plato tells us this is the philosopher's duty, a sacred obligation to guide others toward freedom. Yet the path back is fraught with resistance. Returning to the cave means enduring ridicule, rejection, and even hostility. The prisoners will not welcome the one who speaks of a reality they cannot see. Still, the journey back is essential. True wisdom is not meant to be hoarded. It is a gift that grows only when shared. The challenge is not to force the light upon others, but to plant the seeds of curiosity, to inspire others to turn their heads toward the faintest glimmers of something greater. And so, the enlightened must walk a fine line, to guide without overpowering, to illuminate without blinding. It is a path of humility and patience, a journey that requires as much courage as the climb out of the cave. Yet there is hope. Even in the darkest corners of the cave, there are those who sense there is more. A whisper of doubt about the shadows, a yearning for something beyond the wall. It is for them that the journey back matters most. For each spark of curiosity, no matter how small, can ignite a flame. The path beyond the cave is not a solitary one. It is a bridge between worlds, a connection between those who have seen the light and those who still dwell in shadows. And perhaps, in guiding others, the philosopher learns anew, finding deeper truths in the act of service. Will you return to the cave? Will you carry the light? The journey we've explored is no ordinary path. It's a challenge to question, to doubt, to search for truth in a world that often prefers comfort over clarity. Standing at the threshold of the unknown, one must ask, what now? What does it mean to carry the light, to live in alignment with truth? The philosopher's task is not simply to see, but to act. Knowing that shadows are illusions changes nothing unless we choose to move differently, to think differently. The first step is inward. What are the shadows on your own walls? Which beliefs, assumptions, or fears keep you chained? To seek truth, one must begin by confronting these illusions and loosening their hold. Yet the journey does not end with self-discovery. The light of the sun, the truth it represents, demands more. To live in its brilliance means sharing its warmth. Plato reminds us that enlightenment is not a solitary pursuit. The light grows stronger when it touches others, when it sparks curiosity, and when it leads someone else to question the shadows. But this is not a path of easy victories. There will be resistance within and without. The comfort of familiar illusions will call you back. Others may dismiss your questions or even your insights, yet the light, once seen, cannot be unseen. It becomes a part of you, a quiet but relentless force urging you forward. To live beyond the cave is to embrace this tension, the pull between the world of shadows and the world of truth. It is to recognize that progress is not a straight line, but a spiral, where each return to the cave offers new lessons, deeper understanding, and a chance to make the unseen visible. The call to action is clear. Begin where you stand. Look deeply, question boldly, and walk steadily toward the light. But do not stop there. Turn back, extend a hand, and light the way for someone else. Even a small spark can pierce the darkness. The journey is yours now. What will you do with the light you've found?